They say power corrupts, but he said something darker. Power reveals who you always were. Niccolò Machiavelli, the man who wrote the playbook on power that everyone reads but no one admits to following. And what he understood about how the world actually works is something most people spend their lives pretending is untrue. Because here's what he saw. Power is never given freely. It's never handed over out of kindness. It's never yours just because you deserve it. Power is taken by those willing to do what others won't. So, let's go back. About 500 years ago. Florence, Italy. The city is beautiful, full of art and culture and wealth. And right in the middle of all that beauty is brutal, bloody politics. Families fighting for control, alliances forming and breaking overnight, people getting stabbed in the back, sometimes literally. One day you're powerful, the next day you're dead or exiled. And Machiavelli is watching all of this. He's a diplomat, an advisor, someone who sees how the game is actually played behind closed doors. And what he sees changes everything he thought he knew about power. Because here's what everyone believed back then, and what most people still believe today. They believed that good people get rewarded. That if you're honest and kind and fair, you'll rise to the top. That virtue leads to success. Machiavelli looked at that idea and laughed. Because everywhere he looked, he saw the opposite. He saw kind leaders get destroyed. Honest politicians get manipulated. Fair rulers get overthrown. Meanwhile, the people who lied, who manipulated, who did whatever it took, they were the ones who stayed in power. They were the ones who won. And that's when he realized something that nobody wanted to hear. The world doesn't reward virtue. The world rewards effectiveness. And sometimes, being effective means doing things that aren't nice. So he started writing. Not fairy tales about how things should be, but the truth about how things actually are. And what he wrote got him hated for 500 years. He said, if you want power, stop waiting for someone to give it to you. Because they won't. People don't share power. They hoard it. They protect it. They fight to keep it. If you want it, you have to take it. And that means being willing to do what they're not willing to do. Now, before you think this is just about being evil, let me explain what he actually meant. Because this is where most people get Machiavelli completely wrong. He wasn't saying be cruel for no reason. He wasn't saying hurt people for fun. He wasn't saying morality doesn't matter at all. He was saying something more specific. He was saying that if you want to lead, if you want to change things, if you want to actually make a difference, you can't afford to be naive about how power works. You can't just be the nicest person in the room and expect everyone to follow you. You can't just be fair and hope that's enough. Because, while you're being nice, someone else is making moves. While you're being fair, someone else is taking what you think is yours. Machiavelli gave a specific example. He talked about a leader named Cesare Borgia. This guy was ruthless, brutal, did horrible things. But he also brought order to a region that was complete chaos. He stopped the violence. He created stability. He made life better for regular people. Was he a good person? No. But was he effective? Absolutely. And Machiavelli's point was this. Sometimes you have to choose between being loved and being effective. Between being seen as good and actually doing good. And if you want real power, if you want to actually change things, you have to be willing to make that choice. He said, it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. That's the line everyone remembers. And it sounds cold. It sounds evil. But think about what he's actually saying. He's not saying go around terrorizing people. He's saying that if you have to choose, If you're in a position where you can't have both respect and affection, choose respect. Because love without respect is meaningless. People will smile at you and stab you in the back. But if they respect your power, if they know you can't be pushed around, they'll think twice before crossing you. And that's what keeps you in position to actually do what you came to do. Here's another thing Machiavelli understood. Timing matters more than almost anything else. You can be the most qualified person in the world. But if you wait for the perfect moment, if you wait for permission, if you wait for someone to notice you and hand you power, you'll be waiting forever. Power goes to people who move when the moment is right, who see an opportunity and take it before anyone else does, who don't wait for approval. He saw this over and over. The leaders who succeeded weren't always the smartest or the most qualified. They were the ones who acted when others hesitated, who made moves when everyone else was playing it safe. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The system is designed to keep you waiting, to keep you in line, to make you think that if you just follow the rules, if you just work hard and be patient, your turn will come. But it won't. Not unless you make it happen. Because the people who already have power, they benefit from you believing that lie. They benefit from you waiting your turn. They benefit from you thinking the game is fair. Machiavelli's message is simple. The game isn't fair. It never was. And if you play by rules that everyone else is breaking, you're going to lose. Now, let's bring this to your life. Because you're probably not running a Renaissance city-state. But you're dealing with power dynamics every single day. At work, someone takes credit for your ideas. Someone else gets the promotion you deserved. Someone plays politics better than you and moves ahead while you're stuck. In relationships, someone controls the dynamic, makes all the decisions, gets their way while you compromise over and over. In business, competitors don't play fair. They cut corners, they make promises they don't keep. And they win while you're trying to do everything the right way. And you keep thinking, this isn't fair. This isn't right. If I just keep doing good work, if I just keep being honest, eventually people will notice. Machiavelli would tell you to wake up. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to hand you what you want just because you deserve it. If you want power, if you want control over your own life, you have to take it. And that means making moves that feel uncomfortable. That means advocating for yourself when it feels awkward. That means setting boundaries when people push you. That means walking away from situations where you're being used. It means being willing to be seen as difficult, as aggressive, as too much, because the alternative is being invisible, being walked over, being forgotten. Here's a practical example. You're at work and you've been doing great, but your boss hasn't noticed. Or maybe they noticed but they're not doing anything about it. Most people would just keep working hard and hoping. Machiavelli would tell you to stop hoping and start acting. Schedule a meeting. Make your case. Ask for what you want. And if they say no, start looking elsewhere. Because power respects power. Passivity gets you nothing. Action gets results. Or, let's say someone's taking advantage of you. Using your kindness. Walking all over your boundaries. And you don't want to be mean, so you let it happen. Machiavelli would say you're being weak, not kind. Real kindness comes from a position of strength. But if you have no strength, if you let people do whatever they want to you, your kindness means nothing. It just makes you a target. Set the boundary. Say no. Let them be upset. Because their feelings about your boundaries are not your responsibility. This is what people don't understand about Machiavelli. He's not telling you to be evil. He's telling you to be strategic. To understand that nice people can finish first, but only if they're also smart. Only if they understand how power actually works. You can be kind and strong. You can be fair and strategic. You can have values and still make moves that protect those values. But you can't be naive. You can't pretend the world is something it's not. You can't play by rules that nobody else is following and expect to win. Machiavelli watched his entire world fall apart because good people kept losing to bad people. Because honest leaders kept getting destroyed by manipulators. Because people who played fair kept getting crushed by people who didn't. And he wrote his book to say, stop losing. Stop being a victim. Learn how the game actually works and play it better than they do. Not to become like them, but to beat them at their own game. Because here's the final truth. Power itself isn't good or evil. It's neutral. It's a tool. And the question isn't whether you should seek it. The question is what you'll do with it once you have it. Bad people with power do terrible things. Good people with power can change the world. But good people without power, they just watch bad things happen and wish they could do something about it. Machiavelli's lesson is simple. Stop wishing. Stop waiting. Stop playing nice while everyone else plays to win. Take what's yours, protect what matters, and use your power to do what you came here to do. Because power is never given, it's only ever taken. And the only question is whether you're willing to take it. Watch the next one. This goes even deeper.